Hi, Bill Jones from Turntastic Wood Designs. This is part 2 in a series I'm doing on this miter station behind me. And this episode I built the cabinets that go on top of the miter station. And I'll show you how I did it next. For the first cabinet, I did it the easiest way possible. I took the old miter station and took a circular saw to it and just cut it down to the size that I wanted, and then set it on top of the bench. You will notice that I did raise up the bottom about 4.5 inches. That's going to allow for the miter saw fence later. For construction of the shells of the rest of the cabinets, I again went very simple. It's just 3/4 inch plywood, just using butt joints and wood screws. For construction of the drawers, I started by cutting all 4 sides to the same width. Then I lowered my blade to a depth of 3/8 of an inch and set my fence at 1/2 inch away from the blade. I then cut a slot in both sides and the front to receive the bottom of the drawer. With the fence now in the correct position, I raised the blade up to cut all the way through the back piece. I used my Kreg jig for the drawer assembly, first by drilling the pocket holes, and then by adding screws. I cut a piece for the bottom out of 1/4 inch plywood, and then that slid into the slots that I cut earlier. I secured the bottom to the back of the drawer with a few brad nails. To attach the drawer fronts, I first cut them to size and then just kind of held them up by hand, eyeballing it to where it looked right. And then I tacked a couple of brad nails in. That would hold it just well enough for me to pull the drawer out. Then I could attach the drawer front permanently with some wood screws from the inside of the drawer. When I started building the cabinet shells that go on the left of my miter saw, I cut out a notch 4.5 inches by 4.5 inches to give me plenty of room to allow for a 4-inch pipe to go along the back that will be for dust control. The cabinet that I made on the furthest end on the left, I actually used doors and put one shelf in to allow for taller items instead of having drawers. Well, now I've got all the cabinets made. I was able to clean things up a bit, which was very nice. And looks like now I need to figure out how to make some drawer and door pulls. I set the blade on my table saw to a height of 3/4 inches, 3/4 inches away from the fence. And I ran a piece of 2x4 through, first on the face, then on the edge, and made a little notch. I wound up doing this on both sides of the 2x4. I tilted the table saw blade to 15 degrees because I thought it looked like a pleasing angle. Set the fence 1.25 inches away from the blade, and then ran the piece of 2x4 through twice to get very long drawer pulls. I took those very long drawer pulls over to the miter saw and set an angle of 22.5 degrees, again simply because I thought it was a pleasing looking angle. and cut the very long drawer pulls into shorter 5-inch drawer pulls. For mounting the drawer pulls, I made a little jig out of a piece of 2x4 and a piece of hardboard. And I used that jig to drill holes through the front of the drawer. Then I flipped the jig around and used the other side to position the drawer pull on the drawer front. I could then use a clamp to hold the drawer front on while I then screwed in those holes I drilled earlier on the back side of the front of the drawer to hold on the drawer pulls. Well, after I got all the pulls installed, I loaded everything up, and now loaded the drawers and the cabinet up, and now actually I've got a lot more space in my shop already. If I were to stop right here, it's already way better than what I had when I started. So I'm real happy. I've got a place for my chop saw here. I've got these cabinets that this area is now being better taken advantage of, and some other areas where I needed are now opened up. I'm able to get to my lumber rack. That is it for this episode, but I am going to do more. The next time I'll go ahead and put on a fence system, and I'll figure out dust control. Chop saws are notorious for throwing dust everywhere. They're pretty bad about that, and this particular model that I have is worse than most. And so I'll have to be very careful about, meticulous about how I do dust control. But we'll be doing that next time. If you liked this video and found it helpful, please like and share with your friends. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out. And as always, if you have questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. I'd love to hear from you. And thanks for watching.